Hi, good afternoon, Saints. I wanted to quickly just show you guys how you can create your own gospel tract printing ministry. And you don't need all the high end equipment on how to start your own ministry. You can pretty much do it with a low budget. And many of the ministries today, especially the bigger ones that do print tracts, they use the high end commercial stuff, which is very, very expensive and can be up to like 15,000 to 30,000. But the good news is that you don't need all that high end equipment. That's very expensive. You can actually start it and even print your own tracks just with a very low budget. And when I started doing this, I did have a small budget, and at the time I was using an inkdesk jet printer, and those things print very slow. I think they're mainly most for printing pictures and stuff like that. They're not very good for printing high volume work. So for high volume work, I definitely recommend a uh, high volume printer, a laser printer. And if you see right here in front of me, this is what I have. This is a high volume laser printer. It only prints black and white, which is all I need. And this is a Brother printer. So they're very good printers, good commercial printers, home printers that you can buy. And I got this on sale at a local office store. It no longer is, uh, the office store no longer exists. It closed down right before, so I was able to get it right before the store closed. I got this on sale. It was like, I believe, $300 around there. So I saved up and I went and bought this, and I've been using it ever since. So I've had this now for about 6 years, 7 years, and it still works very, very good. And um, like I said before that, I was using an inkjet printer. But as I said in the beginning, you don't need the high end 15,000, 20,000. Most believers just don't have that kind of a money. And especially if you are trying to print gospel tracts for your own self, for your own use, or for your local church. Maybe you're part of a small local church like I am, and you're on a budget. You don't have the money or the means to purchase a high-end commercial printer that's going to cost, in the thousands. And that's what a lot of those ministries use, the bigger ones. They have all that kind of a stuff, and they have the laborers to do all that. So, you know, they have all that equipment, but, as I said, you don't need thousands and thousands upon dollars just to buy a printer and just to print some tracts for yourself or for your local church if you'd like. It's really up to you. But I wanted to quickly show you guys how you can easily start your own gospel printing ministry. It's very easy, and this is my ministry. I did have a tour um, on my equipment here, so you can see, you can check that out, my playlist, or I believe in my videos I have it there. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on very quickly how you can start your own gospel printing ministry. It's very simple. You really only need three things to really get it started. So you're going to need, number one is a computer, either a desktop or a laptop computer. I don't have space for a desktop, so I just use a laptop because it's just easily portable and you can carry it with you anywhere. So you're going to need a computer, and then you're going to need, as I have here, a high volume printer. Now, there are different price ranges. Just select one that really is within your own means of budget, so you don't need per se to spend 500, 800. They have ones that are on the lower budget end where you can afford, but I do recommend buying a high volume printer, laser printer. Avoid as much as possible the inkjet jet printers. Those are not good for high volume work. So only buy and purchase a high volume laser printer, because you'll be able to print at a high volume at a higher rate, or I guess you could say speed rate, which is very essential, especially if you're printing a lot of gospel tracts. So you're going to need that, a computer, a printer, and then third is a paper cutting machine, as you see here, the paper cutting machine. This is a standard, I guess you could say, paper cutter. I actually got this at a local office store. And before this, I was using a smaller one, and it was it was more of a lower budget one. It was because that was all I could afford at the time. So once I had enough money, I went and bought this one. I upgraded to this, and I've been using this one for several years. But I actually just purchased recently a commercial small printing cutter machine that I'm going to be getting soon in the mail. So I'll be able to print around 300 tracks per cut. So it's going to save so much time on my cutting. But you don't need to purchase the one I did. You can easily just do it with these. And these are pretty common. You can find these anywhere, and any office supply store. They have them. So this one cost me around $100, so it's not too bad. And so what I have here is I have a page. This is an 8x11 standard page. 8x11. And I already printed it here for you guys to see. This is actually for my website. And I'm just going to quickly sit down the computer here. Sorry about that. So I can show you guys what that looks like. So this is an 8x11. As you can see here, this is printed off from my website, alwaysgoodnews.org. So I have free gospel tracts in PDF format. I don't print tracts for ministries or churches. This is just for my own, really, I guess, my own personal use, and also for our small local church. I also provide tracts for them when they need some. But this is what it looks like when you print it on PDF format. You don't have to necessarily use mine. My website to print gospel tracts. There are many gospel tract ministries out there that provide their gospel tracts for free. You can get them in PDF format. This is just for the video's sake, I'm showing you what it looks like. So this is what the 8x11 page looks like as you print it. So it has a front and back side. So that's what it looks like. And as you can see, I have lines there. I guess if you can see it in the video, I don't know if you guys can see it on your end. But there's lines there, and those lines I put on purpose. They're simply just guiding marks for cutting the page or the tracks, so you won't mess up in the cutting. So what you do is you simply just put the track, and I'm not going to cut it just because I'm holding the camera with one hand, and then I'm holding this with the other hand. So what you would do is just slip the paper underneath, and then you would lift up your blade, and as it goes up, you just cut along the lines, and then you keep doing that until you cut all the lines. And then eventually you do cut across here in order to split the tracks, because it's an 8x11 and it has 2 tracks per page. So you're pretty much getting 2 tracks per page. So that's what it looks like. So you cut that, and the cutting power of this, the box said it's able to cut 30 pages per cut. But in reality, I'm only able to cut 10 pages per cut. And the reason is because when you cut for 30 pages, when I started doing it that way, I noticed that the cuts were, the paper was being tugged so bad where I was eventually cutting words off of the tracks, and the tracks were being cut because as you cut, the papers get tugged, and it gets tugged to the blade side. So as you're doing that, you're going to start cutting part of the tracks and also the letters of the tracks. So in order to prevent that, what I did is simply just minimize it to 10 pages per cut. And that's how I've been doing it. And if you don't want to do per se that much as far as cutting, and if you want to upgrade to even more power cutters, you could say, to minimize that time, if you do a Google search, you can find paper cutters out there that are able to cut per se 200 to 300 pages per cut, and it saves you a lot of time, so you don't have to do all that work, because cutting 10 pages per cut can take some time. So as you're cutting that, that's what the finished product looks like this. So this is what the track looks like, front and back. And once you do that, then you fold it in half like this, and then you'll have your track. So this is what the final product looks like. It's a standard 3x5, I believe. It's a small standard size track. And if you go on my website, I do show you can get free gospel tracks without charge. I don't charge anything. And this is what it looks like. It's that simple. Just print, cut, and fold. And that's all there is to it. So thank you for watching, and God bless.